The man that she had dropping her off at my house, claiming was her brother, was the dude she was sleeping with.
Correct, Your Honor. It definitely was.
Then next thing you know, he like, shoot, baby, can I come see you? I'm like, yeah, you come see me, what's up? He came to see me in a Stolo, which they call down in St. Louis. It's a stolen car.
That dude jumped out the window.
Yeah, the guy jumping out the window situation.
What happened?
Well, I came out the car. I seen somebody jump out the window, and I'm knocking on the door for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I wish you would have known so much about. We're talking about that you would have known who your child's father was.
I mean, I was,
but go ahead. School us.
So he come picks me up in the Stolo. So whatnot, and I'm looking out the window. He like, yeah, boo, I'm outside. Next thing you know, here come the police like, freeze. Get out the car. I'm like, really? You came to pick me up in the stolen car?
But a guy just jumped out the window, but you got to knock on your own door.
Exactly.
And so, wait, were you there when the guy jumped out the window? Oh, yeah, I was in my car. I'm looking at him running through the field.
Holy moly, did you see that? Ms. Foster steps into the spotlight and throws down the gauntlet, announcing that Mr. Jackson is the real dad of her kiddo, Jakia. She's super annoyed about him ghosting, just when they had plans to raise this baby together. On the flip side, Mr. Jackson is giving her the stink eye, totally not buying it because he thinks Ms. Foster played the field. But hold your horses, there's more drama brewing.
Ms. Foster, you claim you and your ex-boyfriend planned your pregnancy only to have him abandon you and deny paternity. You are here to prove that he is your daughter, Jakia's biological father. You want him to step up and take care of his daughter.
You won't believe this. Foster isn't holding back. She's all about setting the record straight on the daddy drama. Because, let's face it, the little one's got Mr. Jackson written all over her. She's peeved he's bailing on daddy duties. Mr. Jackson fires back, accusing her of keeping the baby off Instagram to dodge, proving he's the father. Don't go anywhere. The fireworks are just getting started.
I'm opening this case today because, Your Honor, I have a 1-year-old child who we plan on having. She looks like him. He doesn't step up to nothing. I mean, he's posted pictures on social media.
That's not my baby. She don't even post the baby on social media.
I'm not talking about social media. I'm talking about real parenting.
I can't say I admitted to anything because I always say I'll do this and I'll do that.
Whoa there. This is where it heats up. The courtroom dives into the nitty-gritty of their bumpy affair, stirring up stories of past relationships, a new baby on board that Mr. Jackson is now side-eyeing. The air is thick with claims of cheating and hush-hush secrets, sketching out a love story that's anything but smooth. Ms. Foster throws down the gauntlet, insisting she's mom of the year, which Mr. Jackson just laughs off. Buckle up. We're diving deeper into the chaos.
How did this relationship even start?
Relationship started through social media. We found each other through Facebook.
Social media, I should have known.
We found each other through social media, so we had a mutual friend. They vouched for him, said he was a good person, so we jumped into a relationship. I had my first child, and he did come bring us to his mother's house, but he was claiming my first child knowing she wasn't his baby, but then when we planned a baby, he doesn't deny this child at all.
Grab your snacks. This is getting juicy. Amid her declaration of being a supermom, Ms. Foster's brag triggers a heated retort from Mr. Jackson about her so-called secret romances. The story thickens with tales of betrayal and shenanigans, as Mr. Jackson accuses her of cozying up with some guy she calls her brother. As they untangle this messy love knot, keep your eyes peeled. More bombshells are on the way.
He told me I was going to be his baby's mother, because I'm the best mother in the world. That's why he said it.
Actually.
Facts.
No. The man that she had dropping her off at my house, claiming was her brother, was the dude she was sleeping with.
Correct, Your Honor. It definitely was.
Basically what the story was, she already came to my house pregnant by her so-called brother.
Strap in for this wild ride. Flashback to the day Ms. Foster found out she's expecting again, which had her floored in the doctor's office. She wastes no time telling the potential fathers, sparking a wildfire of debate over who's the real dad. The courtroom buzzes as they sift through the timeline of trysts, leaving everyone dizzy. Hang tight, because there's more drama chugging down the track.
I fell to the floor. I did 3 rolls around the floor in the doctor's office because I wasn't having no kids if I'm finna be a single mother to 2 children by myself. I'm 20. So at that point, I told Marquise, because Marquise was there physically, he was gone out of sight, wasn't worried about him. So I told him, I'm pregnant. You could be the father. It's out of you and Sean.
It's getting intense now. Judge Lake jumps in, her eyebrows raised at the circus unfolding before. She points out how insane it is that these two can't get their act together for their little one. The tales of commitment, or the lack thereof, sketch a wild scene. Don't move a muscle. This showdown is about to escalate. Epic levels of crazy.
Yeah, I wish you would have known so much about. We're talking about that you would have known who your child's father was.
I mean, I was,
but go ahead. School us. School girls told me you had 2 boyfriends because he had 2 girlfriends, and you was sleeping with them at the same time. Were you having a sexual relationship with the other guy at the same time you were having it with Mr. Jackson?
Not the exact same time.
Brace yourselves for the grand reveal. Jerome wheels in with the DNA test results, and everyone's holding their breath. breath. Is Mr. Jackson the dad or not? Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jackson, you are not the father.
Mr. Jacobs thought he was Samar's dad for 3 whole years and paid all the bills. Now, out of nowhere, his ex, Miss Call, was telling people he might not be the real dad. She said maybe Mr. Daniel Cooper was the actual father. Mr. Jacobs wanted everyone to know that Samar looked just like him, but Mr. Cooper was super quick to say, "Not me." The judge looked confused, trying to figure out who was telling the truth. How did Mr. Jacobs even meet Miss Call? Well, buckle up, because this story was about to get really weird.
Mr. Jacobs, you're on the birth certificate and paying child support for 3-year-old Samar, but say your ex is now telling people that you are not his biological father, and you're suing today to prove that Samar is your son.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Ms. Call, you admit to allowing Mr. Jacobs to name the baby, sign the birth certificate, and pay support for your son.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy tale. Barely a month after they first met, Ms. Call hits Mr. Jacobs with the bombshell. She's pregnant. This sparks a mix of excitement and a storm of doubts about who the baby daddy could be. Imagine this. Mr. Jacobs learns about the pregnancy. Ms. Call turns up at his door, baby bump in tow. Alert the drama squad. This whole scenario spirals into chaos fast, with both sides recalling different versions of how the pregnancy news came to light.
I would say about a month or so, coming back home the first time, my neighbor had told me that, a young lady had stopped by to look for you and everything like that. And the next day, she was actually sitting outside my apartment, and she was sitting with a friend, and, she was fat. All right, I'm pretty shocked by it. I asked, would you like to go for a walk and everything like that? And that's when she had told me that she was pregnant and everything, so
That's not true.
Get your snacks. The main event is here. The birth scene could be ripped from a screenplay. Mr. Jacobs is right there in the delivery room, signing the birth certificate, overwhelmed with emotion as Samar opens his eyes for the first time. Despite the swirling rumors, he's smacked with a gut feeling. He's the dad. He signs the birth certificate, going against his mother's advice, and oh boy, does that crank up the daddy drama to a whole new level. Stick around! The legalese is up next, and it's a real head spinner.
At that moment, were you sure you were this child's biological father?
I was sure about it because when she was in the C-section, they had brought Samar out to me. He had opened up his eyes and he was looking at me, and at that time I felt the connection between him and me. And the nurse there told me that's a rare thing for that to happen. Usually the babies don't open up their eyes.
To peek their eyes, that was a sign.
That was a sign, correct.
Jump into the legal maze with me. The judge clarifies the stakes, noting that putting your name on the birth certificate locks you in as the father. Science aside, this crucial moment of emotional decision at the hospital has Mr. Jacobs wrapped up in legal ties that won't quit. Things are about to heat up with a surprising new development.
That by signing that birth certificate, you were acknowledging paternity. You were saying, I am, by executing this, signing my name here, I become the legal father of this child. And at that point, it's not even about biology. It's about signing the birth certificate means you're the legal father, and that's how you're looked upon.
This is where it shifts into a real-life drama series. Enter Mr. Cooper, the man Ms. Call now suggests might be the legit father. She's all about pointing out how much Samar resembles toddler pics of Mr. Cooper, like they could be clones. However, Mr. Cooper is steadfast in his denial, firm in the definitely not my child camp, adding yet another twist of chaos to the story. Hang tight, the plot's about to thicken even more and the truth gets murkier.
Your Honor, one of Mr. Cooper's family members showed me a picture of Mr. Cooper when he was 3-year-old. My son is 3-year-old now. They look just alike.
And when you saw that picture, you saw your son.
Yes. And every day I look at my son, he looks more and more like Mr. Cooper. He has his same eyes, same nose, same forehead, same ear. He looks nothing like Mr. Jacobs.
What's next? Oh, it's time for the money talks. The conversation turns to child support, with Mr. Jacobs showcasing proof of his payments. This segment underscores how his signature on the birth certificate has his wallet in a vice, while Ms. Call continues to promote the Mr. Cooper paternity theory. It's a whirlwind of financial and emotional upheaval, folks. Get ready, the DNA shocker is just around the corner.
When I was living in Niagara Falls, we actually had communication the same way. I was helping her out, giving her formula and diapers too, and he was telling me that, yeah, she wanted to do a DNA test, but she never came around to do it. So he didn't really know who the father was. I was just stuck being the father.
And you're now paying child support.
I have information, me paying child support. I paid.
Are you ready for the big reveal?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Cooper, you are not the father.
I knew it.
Buckle up, because here we go. Miss Richardson kicks things off by saying she and Mr. Smith were all lovey-dovey, planning to start a family together. But just after baby Kalani makes her debut, Mr. Smith flips the script, starts denying he's the dad. She's all about proving how pumped Mr. Smith originally was to have a baby, but then paints a picture of him changing his tune faster than a DJ at a dance party. Strap in, because it's only going to get wilder from here.
Ms. Richardson, you say you were in an exclusive relationship with Mr. Smith and even tried to have a baby together. But after you conceived your daughter Kalani, Mr. Smith started denying your baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
You intend to prove he is the father today.
Wait, what? Mr. Smith throws a curveball, saying he wasn't even in town when Kalani was supposed to be conceived. He hints he knows who the real daddy might be, stirring up a pot of drama soup with his claim of being out of the picture. And just when you think you've seen it all, the next bit dials up the drama.
Mr. Smith, while you admit to having a relationship with Ms. Richardson, you say you were not in town during the window of conception and claim to know who the father is.
Hold your horses, folks! Miss Richardson lays out the timeline like a pro, insisting that Mr. Smith was all in on having a mini-me because he wasn't sure how long he'd be around. She's dropping dates and details, trying to show they were together when Kalani was conceived, including cozy appointment visits. It's getting hot in here. And guess what? The emotional roller coaster is just leaving the station.
Around the time we were together for about 8 months, he had told me he was in a situation where he didn't know if he were going to live a long time, so he had said he wanted a child with me. Me being young and dumb, and I was actually in love with him, I agreed on it. I had sent for him to come in town for the weekend, so we can go home on weekend. That day we did have sex, and that's whenever my daughter was conceived.
Whoa, grab your popcorn. Miss Richardson gets teary telling us how Mr. Smith was all about having a baby at first. The court's digging into Mr. Smith's wishy-washy feelings, while Miss Richardson is standing her ground, claiming he wanted to leave a piece of himself behind. The stage is set for some serious heart-to-heart, and you won't believe what's coming next.
Well, she was like,
No.
she have baby fever.
No.
And I was
That's
like,
not at all. I did not
wow.
have baby fever. I was only
She
19
was
years
talking to me the
old.
whole time on the bus talking. She got baby fever.
That was actually him.
And I basically was like, well, we both agree we want to have a baby. We can have a baby, like we could, start trying to have one.
The judge isn't having any of it and serves up some real talk. She advises Miss Richardson about the serious biz of baby making and the forever kind of changes it brings. Mr. Smith's casual attitude gets a major side eye from the judge. Oh boy, get ready, because the next part dives even deeper into this soap opera.
Ms. Richardson, I can't let you go any further unless I just have a moment with you.
Okay.
You cannot have babies by everybody you feel like you fall in love with. I can see, we about 3 minutes in, and I can see that you decided you had fallen in love with him. Everything you heard come out his mouth was through the lens of love that you had created.
You'll need extra butter for this popcorn. As the saga continues, Mr. Smith shares his side. Yeah, he was excited at first about the baby news, but then the doubt monster started creeping in. He suspects Miss Richardson might have played away games, if you catch my drift. The plot thickens, and yep, there's more family drama just around the corner.
I actually was excited.
You were excited?
Yes, ma'am.
At what point do you feel doubtful then?
I was doubtful at.
Well, why you all have been planning for this?
I thought she probably found somebody else outside of the Job Corps.
I
Probably
called
got
him
old
every day.
friends.
He called me every day. I worked 11 at night, so there was no time I could cheat at all. I called him.
Mr. Smith disagrees. He's shaking his head when you
We
testify.
were with each other almost every weekend. Every time I went home, he went home.
Enter the twin sister, Brianna Smith, who's here to spill some serious tea. She backs up some of what Mr. Smith's been saying and gives us the inside scoop on the baby plans and the excitement that was in the air. But as she talks, you can feel the tension rise. And just when you think it can't get any more intense, we hear from another family member who turns the emotion dial up to 11.
She, when we were cool with each other, she would confide in me about my brother. When she did tell him about it, he was excited about it to a certain. At first he didn't.
So he was excited?
Yeah.
And you remember this?
Yeah. He didn't tell me that he had any doubt about anything. It just, progressed, I guess, with him even more when got further along. And she, her attitude is very, very vicious.
Get out the tissues, because it's about to get emotional. Twins mom, Darlene Bagley, steps up and shares her deep hopes that Kalani is her granddaughter, touching on the family's heartstrings and their struggles. She's rooting for a happy ending, but admits the family drama and the mysterious video have her worried. And hold on to your hats, because the DNA results are up next, and they're a doozy.
Do you believe Kalani is your granddaughter?
Yes, I do. They always did, but I stayed neutral, because I didn't want to get in between. I'm on my son's side, but that's my everything in me. He was holding the baby and kissing on her. I'm like, I don't even know this. If you're a godfather, Why we don't know you? Where did you come from?
Every time he gets mad, he said, "Oh, that's not my daughter. Oh, that's not my daughter."
Here it comes, the big reveal. Court reads out the DNA results, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Smith.
Get ready for a shocker. Ms. King drops a big truth bomb, saying Mr. Porter's denial about being the dad has messed up their relationship big time. She's super eager for today's results to clear up all the mess. Buckle up because it's about to get even crazier.
Miss King, you are here to prove to your on-again, off-again boyfriend, Mr. Porter, that your 3-year-old son, Kylan, is his biological child. You say his denial has destroyed your relationship, and you need today's result to set the record straight.
You won't believe this. Ms. King spills the beans about making up a story that she was pregnant just to get back with Mr. Porter after they split. The audience couldn't believe their ears. And guess what? The next part is even more of a doozy.
And then what happens when you find out you're pregnant, Miss King?
Told him that I was pregnant, but I really wasn't pregnant.
Oh! Now, all right, Mr. Porter. So then Miss King admits she lied and said she was pregnant. What happens? You're pregnant, what happened?
At the time, she told me she was pregnant. So I decided, because I didn't have my father in my life, I decided I'm gonna step up to the plate regardless.
Hold on to your popcorn, because here's another twist. While explaining her tale, Ms. King lets slip that a month after her fake pregnancy story, she actually got pregnant for real. Talk about confusing, and the plot thickens. Keep watching.
But maybe about a month after her telling me she was pregnant, walked in the room with a pregnancy test, and was just waving it around like she was pregnant. I was confused. Then I started to think, like, how you pregnant? You know, like, if a month went by and you now pregnant, I was confused, like, I can't be the father. Like, that don't make no sense.
So you thought she had been with another guy,
yeah,
and was really trying to pin the baby on you, either trap you with this baby, because she wanted to stay with you.
Right, right.
Oh boy, here's a kicker. Ms. King admits she fibbed about being pregnant at first. This whole thing stirs up a big talk on why trust is a huge deal in relationships, especially with all these twists and turns. The drama's not over. There's more jaw-dropping stuff up next.
So then you were pregnant, but he doesn't believe that.
No, he doesn't believe it.
How you pregnant?
But you didn't even know I was lying about my pregnancy until recent. I just came out clear and told you I even lied about being pregnant during that time.
Right.
But you did let him know that you lied. Once you lie and someone catches you in a lie, everything you say, you looking going, is he lying? Is she lying? That's just how it works. That's what trust is about.
Imagine Mr. Porter's face when he finds texts on Ms. King's phone from another dude while they're at the hospital. The drama level is off the charts. You might want to sit down for this. Things are about to get even wilder.
When she was pregnant, like in the hospital, you know, giving birth to Kylan, she, you know, she was like, you could say drained, tired, you know, so she went to sleep. I grabbed the phone and I seen some text messages between her and another guy. So that right there was like.
But why were you going through my phone? We're not together.
This is a picture of you in the hospital.
Correct, when he was first born.
Now take a deep breath. Mr. Porter talks about a health issue from when he was a kid. He had a bad case of lead poisoning, which he thinks might mess with his chances of having kids. This adds a whole new layer of drama to the story. Don't go anywhere. The big reveal is just around the corner.
Your Honor, at the same token, I have a medical problem. When I was a child, I was diagnosed with the second highest case of lead poisoning in the state of New York. And I'm 26 right now, and I've never had any children at all until this situation.
Wait for it. Bam! The results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Porter, you are the father.
Buckle up, here comes the circus. Ms. Torrey and Ms. Henderson march into court, each pointing fingers at Mr. Goodson for not admitting he's the dad to their kids. Ms. Torrey says he's dodging daddy duties for her 2 munchkins, and Ms. Henderson claims he's bailing on her 4-year-old darling. They both want the judge to make him face the music and pay up for his kiddos.
You have joined together because you, Ms. Torrey, claim the defendant is denying he is the father of your 2 kids. And Ms. Henderson, you state Mr. Goodson refuses to take responsibility for your old daughter and enforce his financial obligations as a father.
Hold on to your socks because they're about to get knocked off. Mr. Goodson hopes the DNA test will make him the official dad, although he's not too sure because, oops, both ladies might have had other beaux when babies were made. He spills the tea about possible cheating shenanigans, and the judge's ears perk up for the scandalous scoop. The plot thickens, so don't go anywhere.
You claim Ms. Torrey has admitted that she cheated on you in the past, and she is also not confident the children's biological father.
Yes.
Although you are actually hoping the test proves that you are. Ms. Henderson slept with you and and your cousin in the same time frame, and therefore you can't be sure her daughter is yours.
You're not gonna believe this one. Ms. Henderson tells a wild tale about Mr. Goodson picking her up in a stolen car. Yep, like a real-life car thief. Just as they were cruising, the cops flash their lights and it's game over. She paints him as Mr. Reckless, and we're all just eating up the drama. Wait for it. The ride gets bumpier.
Then next thing you know, he like, shoot, baby, can I come see you? I'm like, yeah, you can come see me, what's up? He came to see me in the Stolo, which they call down in St. Louis, it's a stolen car. So he come picks me up in the Stolo, so whatnot, and I'm looking out the window, he like, yeah, boo, I'm outside. Next thing you know, here come the police like, freeze, get out the car. I'm like, really? You came to pick me up in the stolen car?
Just when you think it can't get any wilder, enter Mr. Thomas, Mr. Goodson's cousin, who throws another curveball by admitting to a boozy one-night fling with Ms. Henderson. It was just a bit of fun, he says, but oh boy, does it throw a wrench into the who's the daddy mystery. Keep your eyes peeled because the family tree is getting tangled.
What was your relationship with Miss Henderson?
It's just like a friendship, one-night thing, you know how it be, some night.
Oh my God. I'm gonna need you to repeat that.
I said it just
a little louder.
It's like a one-night thing, you know how it be, some nights you might get drunk.
Right. Okay, so it's a one-night stand. So either you or your cousin, Mr. Goodson, is the father.
Yes, ma'am.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined that when it comes to 4-year-old Lazasia, Mr. Goodson, you are the father.
Yeah.
Buckle up, folks. Mr. Smith just dropped a bombshell, saying he's got medical proof and a surprise witness lined up to show he's not the daddy of little honesty. He's pretty sure his evidence and his mystery guest will seal the deal on his case. Just you wait. The next bit is a hoot.
Mr. Smith, you say you have medical evidence to prove you are not Honesty's father, and if that's not enough, your bombshell witness will close your case. The plaintiff's very own sister says you are not the father.
Hold on to your socks because Ms. Hicks is not having any of it. She's all torn up, saying she's only been with Mr. Smith and can't believe her own sister is taking his side. It's a real soap opera in here, and guess what? It's about to get even juicier.
So, Ms. Hicks, how does it make you feel hearing Mr. Smith deny paternity?
I know I've only slept with him, and I know who my children belong to. Hearing this from him and him getting it from my own full-blooded, it just bores me.
Tell the truth.
It bores me.
She telling false lies, okay? I know for a fact that he was not the only one she was
in the
sleeping
same
with.
bed with me when I'm sleeping with these people. I get.
Oh boy, Mr. Smith is getting all technical on us. He tells the judge about a big oopsie at the gym that led to a doctor telling him he can't be a dad. He's got papers and everything to prove it. Stick around because things are going to get even spicier.
You hear the allegations that have been stated thus far. This is what leads you to believe you are not the biological father of Honesty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
And one time I strained myself too hard and I had to go to the hospital, and the doctor told me that I couldn't have kids, that my testicles had dropped by that time.
I'd like to look at that.
Whoa, did someone turn up the heat? Ms. Hicks and her sister are throwing shade like it's sunny. They're arguing back and forth about who's the cheater and who's the liar. It's getting wild in here, and you won't believe what's coming up next.
Did you inform Ms. Hicks about this when you all were in a sexual relationship?
No, Your Honor, never informed me about any of this. When he did tell me 2 months after Honesty was born, like, she's living proof that you can have kids. I didn't make this baby myself.
Dang well, that is
Like,
not my
I
baby.
can't climb on top of myself and get pregnant.
You know dang well that's
It's
not
not
my
possible.
baby.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more bananas, Mr. Smith talks about finding some sneaky texts on Ms. Hicks's. He thinks those messages are solid proof she was playing around. Keep your eyes peeled because the next part is a real doozy.
I went through her phone and found text message. And it said when I can get that kitty cat.
Oh, you saw a text message?
Yes, Your Honor.
Exchanged to the court. The other guy said, I miss that kitty cat. And Ms. Hicks responded, you know he leaves, so you can come over anytime. You saw this message and you feel like she was definitely sleeping around.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're not gonna believe this one. Mr. Smith caught a guy jumping right out of Ms. Hicks's window. Talk about an escape artist. He thinks she's been up to no good, and the dude had to bail in a flash. The tale gets even wilder from here.
That dude jumped out the window.
Yeah, the guy jumping out the window situation.
What happened?
Well, I came out the car I seen somebody jump out the window, and I'm knocking on the door for like 30 minutes.
But a guy just jumped out the window, but you gotta knock on your own door.
Exactly.
And so wait, were you there when the guy jumped out the window?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I was in my car. I'm looking at him run through the field.
After all that drama, the baby arrives, and Mr. Smith is all mixed up with his feelings. He even helped pick the baby's name, but still doubts he's the dad. The roller coaster's not over yet. Hang on, because the truth is just around the corner.
So when you saw the baby, Mr. Smith, did you feel like the baby looked like you were excited? What's going on here?
Your Honor, because I felt sorry for her because she could have lost her life.
Honestly, you chose one of her middle names, which is Monique.
Do you have any other kids?
No, Your Honor.
You don't. So you believe it's the hypogonadism that contributes or has affected you so that you could not father any children.
Tears alert. Ms. Hicks is really feeling the sting from all the family drama, especially with her sister stirring up trouble. It's hitting her hard, folks. The big reveal is up next, and it's a real cliffhanger.
And I can see that hurts you.
It devastates the...
Why do you say it devastates you, Ms. Hicks?
Because it's coming from my full-blooded sister. We have the same mom, same dad. As
Because
close
I know
as
what
we
you
are,
do, Carlisha.
we're very close.
No, we argue,
okay. Like,
Your Honor, we argue just about every day.
The
We're
same
close
way I
because
take care of him, the
we
same
all
way
we
I
got.
take care of her.
Get ready for the grand finale. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Smith, you are the father.
What next?